Good morning. I'm here in my happy place right now. The kids haven't gotten up yet. And I was thinking, after we just got back to Germany from 10 days in Italy, how thankful I am that things are so affordable here. Because so many people, especially Germans, like to complain that things are getting a lot more expensive, and they are, inflation. But I actually love the fact that I can afford a lot more things here than I ever could in Canada. And I'm so grateful for that. So I've talked about in previous videos before with you guys the cost of overall things like rent or a mortgage, childcare, extracurricular activities, and we can go more into depth into these topics later on. But what I realized is that I've never actually shared with you guys like a day-to-day look into what I would actually be spending. So I think on an average day, I actually don't spend that much. So I thought I'd take you out today. Today is Saturday. My family is here visiting, so we're gonna go and explore some of the city, and then you get a better understanding of just how expensive or cheap it can be when you spend the day in a average German city like Düsseldorf. So I'm just gonna finish my tea here, wait for the kids to get up and ready, and we can head out the door. Let's go. So a typical weekend for us in Germany when we have guests over is to make our way to the bakery down the road for some fresh bread and pastries, especially when we have the Canadians here, because we love to wow them with the amazing quality of bread we have here in Germany.
Ich hätte gerne 3 Buttermilchbrötchen, ein Mohnbrötchen, ein Sesambrötchen und dann noch ein Schokocreme-Croissant und einer hier voll, ein Rhabarber-Schnecke, oder? Super, ja, super. Und das war's. Karte bitte. Morgen.
Ich hätte gerne 3 Buttermilch.
Dankeschön. Schönes Wochenende. Ciao, ciao.
Then we made our way to the parking garage for the first stop of the day, which was a little 2-hour roam around Kaiserswerth. It is a beautiful neighborhood in the north of Düsseldorf, right on the Rhine River, and is filled with tons of little cute shops. My stepmom is sick, so we stopped for some medicine first at the pharmacy. This cough syrup was actually brand name, so it is a bit more pricey, but a good tip in Germany is to always ask the pharmacy if they have a house brand medication first. It's usually a fraction of the cost, but I know this one works, so we went with this one. We roamed around the town, made a few stops in the local shops, and then we found this Düsseldorf Wimmelbuch, which my parents couldn't wait to buy for one of their grandkids back home. It's kind of like a Where's Waldo, where the kids can just spend hours looking at the pages. Super cute. And I'd say that a kid's book for 10 to 15 euros is actually quite standard here. Parking, though, has increased immensely in price recently, and I was pretty happy with the €4 fee for 2 hours here. Typically, you'll pay around €3 per hour now in Düsseldorf. And the worst part is that street parking now is actually in the city center more expensive sometimes than the parking garages themselves. So I typically just go straight to a parking garage so that I don't have to deal with the minute by minute rates that we have in this city, at least. And you may have casually noticed that the card I've been using today is Wise. And while yes, this is one of the cards that I actually often use for my personal expenses, they're also the sponsor of today's video. And while most of you probably already know and love them, this has become one of my favorite tools for living in Germany as an international, because even though I live here now, my life in Canada is still very much alive. Like my family in Canada, for example, still sends me money in Canadian dollars for my birthdays or the holidays and all of that. And for the longest time, I would just leave it sitting there or transfer it through my bank and lose money every single time I sent it into euros to Germany without even realizing it. So no pun intended, unwise is using your bank and getting hit with those awful exchange rates and hidden fees, the wise thing to do would be to use a Wise card and get the real exchange rate. And so that's the biggest thing for me. Wise always uses the real mid-market exchange rate, so you actually know what you're getting and there's no weird surprises afterwards, which I've had many times in the past with other transfer companies. And it's also super fast. Most transfers actually just arrive in seconds, which is crazy when I used to be used to waiting for days for that money to come through from the bank, like I had to do last week for a project that I may be working on in the upcoming months, which I can't tell you about yet, but stay tuned. Whether you're just traveling with two currencies or you travel around the world, you can track all of your expenses in the app, and if you're sending larger amounts, they even have expert support to help you through that, plus automatic discounts if you're transferring over 20,000 euros, which I did do when I first moved to Germany. So yeah, this is like pretty much my go-to card for days like this. And if you want to try it out, I've put my link in the description below, and the account are entirely free. Plus, you can get a fee-free transfer of up to 500 euros as a new user. I probably don't even need to tell you all of this because you've probably already heard of Wise many times before, but there's a little insight for you. So let's keep going. Our next stop was lunch in Unterbilk. There's this hidden gem of a German restaurant called Antoniushof in Bilk that I just discovered, and I could not wait to take my parents. Prices of food and drink at restaurants nowadays have become outrageous. When I moved here in 2014, I never spent more than 10 euros on a vegetarian meal, and nowadays we're looking more at like 20 euros per meal, plus 4 to 5 euros for one drink. But I love me some Rhabarberschorle, so I couldn't say no. Plus, to be honest, water is just as expensive. No, water is not free here, so I just figure it's worth it to indulge. The prices here at this restaurant are actually quite good. And then all in all, it was just under 100 euros for 3 people. And then before heading back to the second parking garage we parked in, we needed to grab a few snacks for the kids on the way home. And the Turkish supermarkets are actually our go-to for fresh meat. And you can also often get fresh fruit and veg for amazing deals as well, but only when they're on sale. And they're usually outside the store on the sidewalk. There's more exotic fruits and veg, which you're going to be paying a premium for. Otherwise, I go to the grocery store. Aldi, Lidl are much cheaper. But if you get the things on sale here, they're very, very cheap. So overall, these are good prices. But at the end, we ended up throwing in a small package of dried figs, which added more than 6 euros to our bill. So that was a bit of a shock. So then after our late lunch, we headed home to spend some time with the kids in the backyard. I had to pay the parking garage fee, which was about 4.80 for 1.5 to 2 hours. So more expensive than the first. And all in all, we ended up spending 147.25 for a wonderful day out. I would say this is quite common here in Düsseldorf. If it wasn't my 2 parents, I would be with my 2 children and my husband. It would typically work out to around the same price. Could I have spent less? Definitely. Do I usually spend less? Yeah, in most cases. We will just go to the playground or the beach or something. My kids are wild, so we don't really need to take them to indoor playgrounds or restaurants. I would say on a typical day, I may spend nothing. I actually work from home, so I make my own breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But on a day when I'm out and about in the city for a meeting anyway, then this can very much look like a typical day for me, especially when I'm with the kids or my husband afterwards for a meal and ice cream and parking. It definitely all adds up. But I would love to know what you think. Is it similar where you live? Maybe you live in Germany in a neighboring city and it's much cheaper. Or did you find this outrageously expensive or maybe quite affordable? I know even living in Berlin and Munich can be very different from the prices that you might pay living in Düsseldorf. But this is my 2 cents here. This is how we go about things in Düsseldorf. I hope that you love this video. If you have more questions for me about prices, just ask me. I'd love to share more information with you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Und wie immer, bis später. And don't forget, if you would like to sign up for your own Wise card with my personalized link down below, you can get a fee-free transfer of up to 500 euros or a free card.